The burnt offering that the prince offers to the Lord on the Sabbath day shall be 6 lambs without blemish and a ram without blemish. I mean, I think that this is a problem, obviously, because we're talking about future events here. 1 Corinthians 5. And this is one that people are, the mainstream Christian church constantly wants to say, oh, well, this is we no longer celebrate the Passover physically, we do it spiritually. I don't understand how you could ever interpret 1 Corinthians 5 this way, verses 6 through 8. But I digress. Is this something that the Christian church is doing? Let's just pretend that we're supposed to do it within a spiritual sense. On Nisan 14, is the church saying spiritually we're going to recognize that it's Passover? When I celebrate the Passover and it's Shabbat, it's the Sabbath, in the middle of the week on Nisan 15, most of my Bible-believing Christian friends have no clue that it's even Passover. They don't even recognize it, spiritually or physically. There's no recognition whatsoever. They don't even know it's happening. What does he say? He says, your boasting is not good. Do you not know that a little leaven leavens the whole lump? Cleanse out the old leaven. So this is a command. Cleanse out the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, as you really are unleavened. For the Messiah, our Passover lamb, has been sacrificed. Let us therefore celebrate the festival. Let us therefore celebrate the festival. Can you remember the last time that the Christian church down the road celebrated Passover? Even if it's in a metaphorical, spiritual sense, he says, therefore celebrate the festival. Not with the old leaven, the leaven of malice or evil, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. I mean, I would argue that he's telling us to celebrate the festival of unleavened bread. And the Lord tells us exactly how to do that. And then, of course, Zechariah 14, we have the festival of Sukkot being celebrated by all the nations, not just Israel, right? All the nations come up before God and the king that is sitting on the throne, and they celebrate Sukkot. Anyone who won't, what's going to happen? So all these guys who are like, the guy who says, oh, yeah, you can celebrate, you can set up a tent in your backyard if you want to, but think about God. Dude's going to be at the temple in Jerusalem when the king sits on the throne celebrating this festival. Whether he wants to or not, it's going to happen. And if he doesn't, then we'll lump him in with Egypt, I guess. No, of course not. He seems to be a Bible-believing man, so he's, of course, going to want to do that. Right? How is the church described? Like, how are you going to get away from the prophecies? I think that they have to say it's all metaphor. That's a really dangerous slope to get on, right? If you're just going to say, well, we're going to say it's all metaphor. Yikes. We could say that about anything then, right? Okay, we got two passages that we're going to look at real quick. Colossians 2:16. Let me make sure that Okay, good. Colossians 2:16 is the verse that everyone always goes to, which says, why am I in? Oh, I'm in. Okay. Let's start a little bit earlier. 2:8, Colossians 2:8. So let's start with 2:16 because this is a verse that everybody goes to. Therefore, let no one pass judgment on you in question of food and drink or with regard to festival or a new moon or a Sabbath. Boom, there you go. See, we don't have to keep this stuff anymore. No one can pass judgment on me because of it. Well, first of all, that assumes that you're celebrating these things, right? He's not assuming that you're not going to celebrate. He says, don't let anybody pass judgment on you for celebrating these things. That's number one. But if you go back, roll it back to verse, let's see here, 8, Colossians 2:8. See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world, and not according to Christ. So you're telling me, let's just think through this interpretation by the majority of Christianity today. You're telling me that the thing that God sets up as like one of the greatest things ever. Read Psalm 119. The entire psalm is all about how God's Torah is perfect and wonderful. The law of the Lord is perfect, right? Renewing the soul. And that's earlier in the Psalms. Just do a survey of what the Bible says about the Torah, about God's law. Now go to Colossians 2:8 and tell me, is it philosophy and empty deceit? Does the Bible describe it like that? Does it say it's human tradition? Elemental spirits of the world? No, of course not. Something else is going on here. Continue listening to this conversation by clicking the full show link on the left side of your screen, or check out the video on the right that YouTube thinks you'll like. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you never miss content from Messiah Matters.